Hello everybody, this is Thomas from Denmark, coming to you with another video in my series on straight razor / wet shaving. In this video I want to talk to you about the stropping of a straight razor. I'm not claiming to be an expert on the subject, or any other subject in straight razor shaving for that matter, but I'm doing this video on a request from a fellow YouTuber / wet shaver, and I'll be happy to tell you the things that I have discovered and my experiences so far with stropping, and you can take that information and use it as you like. Just remember, I'm not telling the final truth about anything. This is just my input and my point of view, and you can use it to discover your own point of view. So what I have here is a hanging strop. It's an English brittle from Straight Razor Designs, and it's a very fine quality. What I like to do before I strop is rub my fingers or the palm of my hand against the leather a number of times. This creates friction, and friction creates heat, and when the leather gets warmed up, it gets more smooth and flexible. Like so. I'm using this razor for demonstration. This is the feather with disposable blades, and no, this is not a razor that you strop, because of course it has disposable blades, but I've taken out the blade, meaning that the razor is not sharp now, and I can fool around a little bit and just show you guys some do's and don'ts when you strop. When you strop, you don't remove metal from a blade. What you're doing is you're actually polishing the metal, making it more smooth, and removing just little pieces of burr and dirt and whatnot that might be on the edge. So you're not actually removing metal, but making the edge run more smooth on your face is really what you're doing. As in opposed to when you're honing, you're leading with the edge and following with the spine. When you strop, it's the other way around. You want to place the razor on the angle that comes from the design. You want to lead with the spine, follow with the edge, flip it on the spine, and come back, like so. You don't want a lot of pressure on it. You want to make sure that you keep the strop fairly taut. You want to hold it. You don't want it to go like this, because when you go like that, and if you do it like this, what happens now is the strop actually folds over the edge of the razor, thereby ruining it because it's bending it. So if you don't keep your strop taut, you can end up ruining both the edge on your razor and your strop. Now, the strop that I have here is 3 inches wide, and let me just take a regular straight razor and show you. This is the Renaissance from Dovo, and it's a normal length blade with a 3-inch wide strop. The length of the strop is greater than the length of the razor. The wideness of the strop is greater than the length of the razor, meaning that if I go straight up and down, the entire edge gets accommodated by the strop. Some strops are only 2 inches wide, meaning that they cannot accommodate the full length of the blade simply by going up and down, and this is where you have to use the X stroke or the half moon stroke. The X stroke looks like this. Simply, I'm doing an X. It doesn't make too much sense to do it on a wide strop like this, but this is just for demonstration. You can also do the half moon stroke, which goes like this. The principles for all the strokes are the same. Don't put a lot of pressure on it. Lead with the spine, follow with the edge, not a lot of pressure, and keep the strop nice and taut. Now, most of these strops comes with some kind of other stropping material on the back. Sorry about that. Now this particular English brittle strop came with this thing on the back of it. It's some kind of plastic or nylon linen, and it was attached on the back by these three screws up here, and it sits like this. Now this is meant for, usually these linen things are meant when you go from a home to a pasted strop, and this is the final step before the leather. Some people like to go on some kind of linen, non-pasted, just right before the leather. I didn't care very much for this particular product, so I dismounted it simply by unscrewing these three screws and removing it. I could put something else on there if I liked, but I found that there was a rough leather on the back of this plain brittle leather. It had a rough back, and I like to put chromium oxide on rough leather. So I put some chromium oxide on here, and now I have a 2-in-1 strop. A back with chromium oxide that I can use when my razor starts to pull just a little bit, and a plain leather that I'll use before every shave. The other strop, hanging strop that I have here, I think you call this red latigo leather. I really don't know how to pronounce it. Now, it's similar to the English brittle strop in design. It's just as long and just as wide. That's the way I like my strops. And here you can see another type of linen that is mounted on the back. This is not plastic, this is cotton, and I really like this linen, so I didn't put any kind of paste on there, and I just let it sit here. I'll use this side after I have used a pasted strop. So if my razor starts to pull, I use a pasted strop, then I'll use the linen, and then I'll go to the leather. So what's the difference between these two types of strops here? Well, the difference is the leather. And the price, of course. I really don't know that a specific type of leather performs better than another type of leather. This is where it gets a little bit confusing when it comes to stropping. Because there are a lot of variables that you can change, and I really cannot say which is better than the other. First of all, there's a type of leather you can get. Which leather is best? Some leathers have a lot of draw, like the red Latigo strop. That has a lot of draw. Allow me to demonstrate. First, listen to this. This is the English brittle. That doesn't have a lot of draw. Now try listening to this, the red Latigo. That has a lot of draw. Draw refers to the amount of resistance that you get when the metal runs over the leather. Less draw, the metal would run like this. More draw, the red metal would run like this. Some leathers have a lot of draw and some leathers has less draw. I cannot say that one performs better than the other. I think draw is a matter of personal preference. I really think a lot of these variables that you can change in stropping, when it comes down to it, it's a matter of personal preference, not so much result. Now, some people might disagree with me, and I'm not saying that this is the ultimate truth, but from what I've gathered of information on the internet, there's no one that says that this specific leather with this specific length and wideness of the strop and this amount of strokes on the strop gives a perfect result for every razor. Some people like red latigo leather, some people like English brittle leather, some people like 3-inch wide strops, some people like 2-inch wide strops, etc., etc. You really gotta try out these things for yourself. In the end, the thing that's important is the way you perform your stropping. Also, of course, you can get paddle strops. I have this one, the modular paddle from Straight Razor Designs. I reviewed that in another video. Now, it's taught from the beginning, so it doesn't curl. It won't curl and fold over your edge, but it's the same deal. I would prefer doing this when the paddle was lying on some sort of table or something else like that. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes for you guys right now. When it comes to straight, just plain leather stropping, I prefer a hanging strop. When it comes to some types of paste or diamond spray, I like the modular paddle. When it comes to chromium oxide, I like the hanging strop. Your mileage may vary. You have to find out what you like. So how many strokes should you do? Well, I do 50 strokes before I shave. If I have honed a razor, honed it, put it to the pasted strop, put it to the linen felt, and then go into the plain leather, I'll do maybe 100 to 200 strokes. Other than that, I'll do 50. I don't know why I picked this exact number, but that's what I did. You can't really overstrop a razor if you're doing it correctly, but if you're doing it incorrectly, overstropping it will make that error bigger and bigger that you're doing. But of course, the only way to learn is to practice, so I'd say better do more strokes than fewer strokes, because it's a learning process, and if you should be so unlucky as to ruin your edge stropping, you can always re-hone it. I mean, you're not ruining the entire razor. So how do you maintenance these strops? Well, I like my leather real oily and greasy, not to the point where it's dripping off or anything like that, but when I wear leather jackets and I have leather clothes and other leather accessories, and I like to keep my leather filled up with leather oil. So what I use for my strops, I have two products. One being pure neatsfoot oil. I'll use this on a strop when I first receive it, and I'll use it to fill up the strop, the leather, with oil. What I'll do is I'll take a long piece of tin foil and I'll pour oil all over the strop, smear it in, and then I'll fold the tin foil all over the strop all around, so the entire strop is soaked in oil. I'll leave it there overnight, I'll wipe the excess off, and now I've filled the leather with oil. Now, when I want to refill that oil once in a while, I use this little tube here with leather paste from Dovo. It's not as greasy and as oily, it has a more firm consistency. I can put that on my fingers and just rub it on the strop. I'm not saying that you have to do this or that you need to do this, because some people prefer their strops entirely unoiled, and they'll just let them just be plain all the time. So I hope you can use this video. I apologize if I had more unanswered questions than answered questions, But please feel free to post any comments or ask me any questions. Thank you.